Women's Commission for Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. If everybody could please join me to the pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, may we please have a roll call?
Dr. Valerie Francisco Menchavez.
Present.
Gabby Maxman.
Present.
Adrian Tissier.
Present.
Natasha Opfel.
Present.
Okay, we have our full board tonight. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the Special Women's Commission meeting of October 15, 2025?
I move to approve those minutes.
I second.
We have a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the minutes are approved. Oral comment, we don't have anybody rushing to the dais, so we will move on to communications. So in your packet, we have a retreat summary from our Women's Commission retreat, but we also have Debbie's, how can I pronounce your name again? Schechter? Did I say that right? Okay. It's going to kind of give us a rundown, sort of a playback of what we did that day and what we're planning to do moving forward. Is that a realistic? Okay, Debbie?
Great, thank you. It's a pleasure to see you all again. So it's been a little bit, a couple of months at least, and hopefully you have received this earlier and got a chance to take a look at it. As you'll recall, the main purpose of the retreat was for the Women's Commission to start to develop some goals for the next couple of years and begin developing a work plan to accomplish the goals. And so if you'll recall, we did a framing activity where we learned a little bit more about each of you all individually and what you're looking forward to in terms of working on the commission. And we identified some themes from that had to do with identifying resources that are missing, making sure that women are active participants, and intersectionality and girl power. We, as kind of an example of work that other commissions have done, we heard from a couple of folks from the county's Commission on the Status of Women, and specifically how they engage the community and their Fund the Future report. So I know that there was a lot of interest from you all in that. And then you came up with some goals. So you pretty easily agreed on 3 goals: engagement, research and reporting on the status of women in Daly City, and also wanting to impact policy. And you divided into subcommittees to begin working on those goals. And there were actually some action steps that you came up with at the retreat. And the chart that is attached at the back is the work plan. What I did was, this is kind of the framework that I had shared with you all that you could use for developing your work plan. And what I put in here is the ideas that I heard from you all that came up. So this was just sort of supposed to be a start for you all in each of the 3 goal areas. So engagement, research and reporting on the status of women in Daly City, and impacting policy. So then the next steps, as you can see if you go back to the retreat summary, were that the subcommittees that you all had formed would work on refining the goals and objectives and developing a timeline, and ideally would report out on this at the next commission meeting, which is today. So I don't know if you all have had the opportunity to do that, but that was something that came up. And then another next step was reading the Fund the Future report to get more familiar with the work that the county's commission had done. And then liaisoning, I don't know if that's a word, liaising with the county's Commission on the Status of Women regarding the listening session that they were planning for February 24th. And then there was also talk about sending out a survey the survey that you all had developed prior to the retreat that was shared at the, I forget.
Top of the
what
Hill
that was.
Festival.
Thank you, the Top of the Hill Festival. And the idea of sharing that out to get more information to inform, listen, and learn, and get some more responses. So that's what we captured as far as the retreat summary. And again, it's been a while, but there were some next steps that were identified. So you might want to kind of talk about where you're at or how you want to move forward on that. And then if you need any support, I'm happy to continue providing some support.
Well, I think because we were away for such a long period of time, I don't think we focused on having things done by the 22nd, which
Right.
is today, which is,
Right.
unfortunate, but at the same time is a pretty busy period over the holidays. And I would hope maybe on some of these, we could try to do some before our next meeting, so that we could, just a couple of the next steps, it looks like we had them for this meeting, if we, those that are responsible, if we could maybe try to connect with whoever we said we were gonna connect with, and come back at our next meeting.
I do have a question, a point of clarification. So I missed the email with the notes, and I know that I could have read my notes better, but some of these action items, like, oh yeah, I really wanted to do that. I totally didn't do that. But for the committees and stuff, do we have to have a motion to make those, like formalize those? Because I thought those were like ideas, but I didn't know that we were actually doing it.
I think at the, if I'm not mistaken, I think at the retreat, we volunteered for the committees. Because we have under engagement, we have Gabby and Adrian. Under the participate with CSW Listen and Learn session, it was Valerie and I. And then your name was on something over here.
Oh yeah, I remember talking about, but I didn't know that like that was like official. Not that it has to be, but just like how often are we trying to meet or
We could try to formulate something that says, these are the committees we've set so far, and you try to meet once a month, maybe something like that, so that we can keep an ongoing dialogue on the issues we said we talk about.
Great.
I mean, I'm just saying that, I'm not saying we have to do it that way, I'm just giving for instance, because then things don't get stale. If we meet once a month with the committees, then it'll keep moving. If we don't, it'll start floating.
one more point of clarification. One thing that I wasn't sure of when leaving the meeting and after reading the reports, I mean, this report is lovely and beautiful, short and high level, but then there's the big meaty data piece behind it. And I know that we had talked about kind of what are our resources and to start to tackle some of these things like a speaker series or engagement. Like, did we have a budget? Did we have staff resources? Like, obviously there were a lot of people behind this. How did they fund the study? Because we're all pretty cool. We can do a lot of stuff, but to start writing and, analyzing, at least my part with the data, I did have some of those lingering questions just about how to do the work.
Before we tackle that really good question, I also didn't get any of these, like the summary or the charts. So I just wonder when that happened. Was it like shortly after the retreat, Debbie?
It probably was. I know I sent it on to Natalie, but
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. If just to make sure that I also most likely missed the email end of the semester, and then the holidays is like crazy. But on the topic of the committees, so for example, I also remember that Natasha and I signed up to talk a little bit and touch base about the research and reporting. When we do that, I know I'm trying to remember like the rules or whatever. Do we have to CC you, Natalie, on that? Just a logistical question. Or can we just exchange emails, or does everyone need to be on that email?
Definitely not more than two, I believe, but you can CC.
Okay, so if me and Natasha wanted to send emails or maybe get on a quick phone call about, hey, did you read that part? Whatever. You should be all in that correspondence.
In the subcommittee correspondence.
Great, thank you.
So I couldn't hear some, which one are you talking about? That you and Natalie were gonna do something? Or Natasha?
Yeah, it's the third one, the research and report on the status of women in Daly City. I think, I remember at the retreat, Natasha and I were interested in kind of like bringing our skills together and our interest in data analysis and kind of reading the report and seeing how that might lend itself to our stuff in the city of Daly City. So that's like page 3 on the work plan.
I see it now.
I have two questions. One, just confirming, is it that you can be on the correspondences or you should be on the correspondences?
Right.
Believe that I should be.
Okay. And then the other question that I had was, I think part of what I was interested in around engagement with social media presence. And I think here I see that you were going to identify what we can do on social media, and I don't know.
I did confirm that we can post on the HR department's social media for the Women's Commission, but not create an entirely new Women's Commission page. So we can definitely advertise on the HR page.
Because other commissions are not allowed, or
Correct.
do not have that same kind of presence.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we can also post on the city's main page as well.
Oh,
So
nice.
in
Okay.
addition to the HR page.
Okay. I guess when we post, it has to be something specific with a purpose and not like gaining engagement. It's engaging for a particular topic. Well, I guess because we can't have our own social media presence.
Yes. So yeah, we would advertise if you're looking to have survey results or
Yeah.
events and things like that.
Was there another way that you wanted to use the social media like posts?
I mean, in my mind, it's to create some sort of community around the Women's Commission that then is like the interests of the city and the HR department are broader and different than the Women's Commission. And so the Women's Commission would have their own audience that would be interested in what the Women's Commission might want to say or deliver, which is different than what the city has to say and deliver, and definitely very different than what the HR department has to say. So it's more of like, I think if we're trying to advertise, it makes sense. If we're trying to build community and engage people that way and do like direct, questioning or interviewing of people within the community or highlighting, then it kind of it doesn't allow for that.
I think I'd be okay with not doing that. I guess my concern would be that I'm trying to think of this as in relation to kind of other work I do. Like us as a body have to kind of decide what we think about certain topics. Like we don't have, other than our mission statement, like more items to do other than these actions. And I think facilitating around the actions we've outlined, but not necessarily like we haven't defined like community building goals, or I would just not want to sign off on any social media that's not around something we agree on in this room that seems more like event based or topic based. I don't know.
I think when I hear both of you talking about, I'm thinking about when it comes to the time where we do those listen and learn sessions, I think that's when we can somehow get lists or groups of women in the, whether it's the Filipino groups, whether it's whatever groups of people, and try to get them engaged in this. And therefore, we've created a certain amount of community already around this listen and learn, which means they'll know more about us because we're going to maybe put on the HR website, maybe we can put on the Daly City website, please come out that night, especially women telling your story, issues that affect you directly and your family. Just like they did with the Fund the Future. They have a lot of information. They had talked to people that came out and told their story. And I'm thinking that's one good way to build community, but we have to get the word out that this takes place on February 24th. So I'm thinking when we talk about utilizing media, that could be our first example. We did it at Top of the Hill. Did we get names from people at the Top of the Hill to fill them out?
Only if they wanted to provide them, but otherwise it wasn't a requirement.
Yeah, I was just even thinking, send it out to our commissioners, the other commissioners, a lot of women on the commissions as well, and just try to go to different groups, maybe the schools, teachers, whomever, Seton, the nurses, just try to see if we can somehow get it out there, put it in the libraries about that event. I'm just trying to think where we could put it to get people from Daly City to participate in that, because that's really our first, it's not even our event, but they're doing it up here. I believe, aren't they doing it at the Jefferson High School District, or Jefferson Elementary School District office building? Yeah, that's what I thought. So, it's in our territory. So it'd be nice for us to see if we can get enough women to join us. So, because they'll come from the North County, but that doesn't mean it's just Daly City.
I guess an action item that might have been discussed was like the materials, like a poster or something that we could scale down for the Daly City newsletter that we get via email, the Daly City socials, sharing it with other commissioners, or sorry, not council members and things like that to share. But we don't have the kind of invite yet.
That's true. I wonder if
Because we could make it like a poster and making sure it's translated, or that if we have interpretation and things like that, would be important to get different.
If the Commission on Status of Women has a flyer already made, which assume they do, if we could put, Daly City Women's Commission invites you to join Commission on Status of Women and ourselves to come listen and learn and tell your story, that kind of thing, so we don't have to duplicate something or make something new up. We just tack ourselves on with it. In some way, I'm just trying to make it simple because this isn't very far away.
Oh yeah, that's what I just mean. I don't know if I can email them to ask them for that, but they probably have a flyer.
I can follow up with the county.
Yeah, if you could see what they have, and then maybe send it to us, and if we have suggestions on how to maybe enhance it for getting the word out in Daly City. And maybe could you also ask them how they've done their outreach in North County? Because it sounded like they got a pretty good turnout at some of their listen and learns.
I just did a quick Google search and there's a flyer up.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we can boost that. Or do we have to ask them to do that?
Well, I think we should ask them if we can kind of extend it out to people through the Women's Commission. I don't think they'll have a problem, but better to ask them.
And it is at the Jefferson Union High School district office.
The other place would be good, is somehow being able to post it up at Skyline College. I think you're probably going to end up getting people more of the college level, I would guess, and older adults or adults. So that might be a place that, and I think Dr. Rod works up there, and he might be able to help us know how to get. You're at San Francisco State, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That might be a good opportunity too. If there's somewhere you have places to post things, and if there's women's studies
absolutely.
or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
up there,
absolutely.
I'm sure there's. Just spread our wings as far as we can. And maybe do it in our libraries too. If we have a poster.
So, Natasha, you're planning on going on February 24th?
Mm-hmm.
And then in terms of that seems to be both the engagement and the research. Can we still everyone's gonna do it? Who's gonna be doing all the posting and things like that?
Posting, hanging up flyers and posting on social media?
Yeah.
I can post it on HR's, and I can also send it to the city manager's office to
would be
post on the
great.
Daly City site.
Okay, excellent.
just a suggestion. I think the connection with the Commission on the Status of Women is going to be really important because they may also be, targeting certain places. So for you all to know, like, where they're posting it so you can augment that. And then I think we also had talked in the retreat about how you all might participate in the
Right,
session
right.
and just being able to coordinate with them to figure that out.
And, actually, we had talked about, Valerie, you and I had talked about trying to talk with them again about sort of how we do that.
Yeah.
Or
Sorry, I
what their
vaguely remember.
expectation, that we would come.
We would come and then,
And I'm just curious, it's sort of a question you just posed, is what's their expectation of us? Just to listen and learn, or
right.
are they looking for us to bring people, which we're going to try to do anyway? Or they want our feedback at that session as well? So, I mean, I'm happy to do it, or I'm happy to do it with you on a call.
Yeah.
We can, why don't we, I'll email you
That would be
or
great.
text you, and we'll find a time we could do it. I'll check in with, I forget her name now, from the Commission of Status Women, but I'll look it up in my notes. And we'll see if we can get a time to talk.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
On the Facebook flyer that they have, there's a registration link too. So just FYI, you might want to do that.
Say this again?
There's a registration link that they published with the flyer. So
Okay. Those would be helpful things to talk to them about. But you say it's on the website, their website?
it looks like when I Googled it, it was just on Facebook on the
Oh, okay.
San Mateo Commission on Status of Women Facebook page.
The invite that they have, I didn't see the Facebook one,
Yeah.
but just on their website, I think it would be maybe something that we could ask to make sure they translate it into Tagalog, or because they just have Spanish right now, which is useful. But for Daly City, if they want to just expand the reach,
Yeah, that's great.
I think that's the kind of feedback that they would really appreciate from you, like that you want it to be accessible to Tagalog speakers and that maybe they have interpretation in Tagalog.
or at least offer it, because they have a RSVP, but they don't have like. Sometimes I've seen
In
just
Spanish?
generic. Yeah, they have it in Spanish, but it's not sharing. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained today. It's sharing information about the event, but it's not sharing information about how language will be treated at the event. So sometimes they have just like, if you need interpretation, let us know in different languages, and then they'll go from there. So they don't show what their plan is to have like different sessions or a translator. They just have it translated, which is kind of two different things.
And on the poster, it just says interpretation services are provided.
Okay, that's
And the poster's only in English.
okay.
Yeah.
So I think just like streamlining that, because the RSVP is different. I just think that's extremely important for
Oh, yeah, 100%.
the county, and then especially our area,
Yes.
and even into whatever the top other Asian languages are, whether that's Cantonese or Mandarin, because in trying to get into this, it's like majority Asian, then Latino, white Latino. So it's like we need to be cognizant of that.
What are, in the county, what are the languages? I know in San Francisco County, it's Spanish, Chinese, and Tagalog. But are there any requirements in the county for translation or interpretation?
I'm not sure about the county. I know for Daly City, we have our translations in Tagalog, Cantonese, Mandarin, and Spanish.
Okay.
But I'm not sure of the county, yeah.
Okay, good to know. Okay.
Just to pivot a little, because one of the things we talked about at the event was Women's History Month, which is March.
Right.
And we only have one meeting between now and March. So I don't know, like, how we game plan around whether or not we want to attach our name to an event, if something is already being planned by the city, if the expectation is for us to recommend something. Last year, obviously, was the formation of this commission. And I don't think it would be appropriate to celebrate our 1-year anniversary because that just seems very self-absorbed. So it feels like, something else. Even if it's a small celebration in this, in the city, and I don't know if each council member, wants to nominate anyone. I don't know. I don't know what's been done in the past. But whatever it is, it should also have our name attached to it in some fashion.
Yeah, I did confirm in the past, since we didn't have a women's commission, the event was hosted out of the office of the city manager. But given that we have a commission, we can definitely plan, like you said, having your name on this event and work through those details either at the next meeting on the 26th of February, or we can have a special meeting if we needed to have another meeting if you feel like we need to have more time. We will have a budget for that.
Okay.
So yeah, I did confirm that we will have a budget. So if you'd like to work on details, then we can start planning, what you would like to have at the Women's History event in March, and confirming the date, if it's going to be on our regular March meeting, or if we're going to have a different meeting, depending on everyone's availability. But we definitely want to advertise that in advance, so we can either do that, start talking about it at the next meeting, or like I said, schedule additional time to plan.
I'd be for having it the day of our March meeting, since we're going to be here already and just before the meeting. I don't know if anyone is opposed to that.
So our regular meeting in March is March 26th. So if that works for everyone, then we can just plan on that date, and I can let the city know that that's the date that the event's going to be, and then we can work on the details either our next meeting or schedule additional time through a special meeting.
It might be helpful to also check with the city manager's office now and see if they've already got some things sort of lined up. And if they don't, that gives us a clean palette. If they've got some somewhat lined up and are just working on them now, maybe that's where we can start engaging ourselves and taking that, I don't want to say take it away, but work in concert with them, because they may do several things.
Yeah, I'll definitely check. They have their, I think, events for the entire year that they're working on currently. So I can look to make sure this doesn't conflict like with anything on March 26th
And they
or
also do a
in March.
proclamation every year for Women's History
Right.
Month. So it might be helpful if they do something like that we come to that particular, they do it in the beginning of the meeting, so you don't have to sit through an entire
Yeah.
meeting. But it might be important that we're there, showing how important it is. And maybe they could ask us what we're working on. We can give a little summary of some of the things we're doing, the retreat we had, items we're looking forward to working on,
Yeah.
our subcommittees.
If there's the first meeting in March is March 9th, if there is a proclamation for Women's History Month, maybe that's also how we advertise the event towards the end of the month, if we are going to use the March 26th date.
So they do it on the first meeting of the month?
So the second and fourth Monday is the council meeting, so March 9th would be the council meeting that I can confirm if there will be a proclamation for Women's History Month, and then at that point, we can, if everyone's available and is present, then we can advertise the event that would be held at the end of the month.
Okay, that's good.
And then if, just in case they don't have something planned and they were thinking we were going to plan it, it would be helpful to know what sort of things have been done in the past.
And also, is there some budget that we can
Yeah,
tie to that?
she said a budget, so I guess knowing the details of that.
So we're on every third Thursday of the month.
Every fourth Thursday, yeah.
Okay.
So February 26th would be our next meeting, which is
And
2
it-
days after.
Yeah, and is it moved up to 7 to 8? Did I get that wrong? Was it 67 before?
It's always been at 7, but we did have a special meeting once, I believe, where it
Okay,
might
got
have
it.
been at 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
7 to 8.
Is it possible to agendize the details of the Women's History Month event at our next meeting and speak to whoever's organizing that for any last minute things we might want to add?
I
Since
think that's a great idea.
we can't really collab in between.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Just to confirm, agendize on our Women's Commission meeting. Okay.
And I think invite whoever is playing it so we can have a discussion with them. And if that can't happen, then we need to figure out how to talk to them.
And I'll also confirm if we're planning it too.
Yeah, that would also be helpful. They're like, we're not coming because it's all you. Good luck.
I think also like that's part of kind of the structural questions I have. It doesn't seem like we're really set up to like effectively plan an event just because of we can't talk to each other all together offline. And we don't know we don't have these essential things or abilities to converse in a way that can.
Well, you could also have, if two people want to volunteer to work on an
Yeah.
event like that, you can do that. You can report out on the work you've done too. It's just we can't all talk together if it's something we're going to vote on.
Yeah, two people. And I mean, I think that's something to revisit because right now the engagement committee, which includes the event, is Adrian and myself. So,
Well, maybe we could do this first one and get all the, figure out and bring it back to the board meeting, the next board meeting, because that'll be February. We'll work together with Natalie and figure out what they had started planning, what we could possibly do, and find out what budgetary constraints, and then we can brainstorm some things and bring it back to the meeting. And you can say yay or nay at the meeting, and we could do a 180 at the meeting. And so come March 26th, it could be completely different from what the two of us talk about.
yeah. So can you do all that and then we're the committee and can you message us, email us about it?
Yeah, I can schedule
Okay.
time for us to talk
Okay.
about that. Yeah.
Perfect.
So then we can bring that information to the next meeting.
Great.
Okay.
Just to point out an observation from my work with boards and commissions for the county, the subcommittee structure is really very effective because of what you just said. It's, you only meet once a month. You can't all meet together outside of the meetings. And so, having effective subcommittees that really do meet in between the meetings and do a lot of the work and then share it with the rest of the commission to get input is what I see happens with effective commissions. And it forces you to be efficient. Like you're not going to go back multiple times to your whole body and say, well, no, let's make some revisions and come back next month because you'll never get anything done that way.
They have the benefit of having like 15 people on the commission so that so their committees are like 4 or 5 people and so.
Yeah, well, and I guess this will force you to be realistic.
Yeah.
Or the other thing that I've seen them do, and you can hear more about this from Tanya, who's the staff person for the Commission on the Status of Women, or some of the other folks, is they actually have, I believe they've enlisted community members to kind of support. And they could be part of these subcommittees potentially if you find some community members who
Great
are
idea.
engaged. But that might be a question to ask them how they get the work done. How do they work with community members?
Great
But
idea.
yeah, I mean, you are very, very small, so you'll want to be very realistic about what you can achieve.
Well, it'd be our first try,
Yeah.
just like this is the first time we've done the commission. There's going to be some ups and downs and back and forth. It might not be this big blowout event, but
Yeah.
if it's at the date of our meeting, maybe people can start seeing what we do at our meeting too. 'Cause, maybe they'll want to start coming.
I mean, I feel okay because I've successfully planned an event for the city by myself. So I think we can do it.
And we can have help from HR, and we can have help from
Yeah.
the city manager's office. We don't have to do all the heavy lifting. Okay, are there any other comments in regard to the retreat? We're all good? Okay. Thank you, Debbie, for coming. We appreciate it, and thank you for all your work. Great summary.
Pleasure to support you.
So, under commissioner reports, we had talked about before that we would try to read the Fund the Future report and get feedback. I'm not sure everybody got it in time to do that or saw the packet. of it. So if you want to talk about it today, we can. Otherwise, I would suggest maybe we put it off. It's not super long, it's like 14 pages, but it does take a little bit of concentration. Also has an executive summary they had with it as well. But it's not really tough reading, but you want to kind of really zero in on some of the issues and ideas. I thought it was kind of interesting. Is everybody good with this?
Yeah.
Yes, and I urge, even though it's long, the supplemental appendices really show the labor that went into it, because their recommendations are really cool, but I was curious where they got some of the data points or how they came to those specific strategies. And the research that went into it is pretty heavy, and it's like a lot of formal research and citations and all that stuff, and it was really illuminating for me, but also like I could see how long this took to do, and I was very curious. There's no one no authors
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
or special thanks to a consulting firm, so I'm very curious who wrote it.
Okay, yeah.
Same with the survey they had was really thorough too, and I was wondering if they had anyone to develop the instrument.
And the acknowledgements on like page 15, there's a list of folks and there's asterisks behind the names of the final report committee contributors. So maybe that's the folks that penned the report. I will say that I didn't have a copy and didn't have it on my radar to read and bring any feedback for the Fund the Future report and how it might pertain to our work. So my apologies for that. We'll definitely have some points to offer at the next meeting.
Okay. Okay, we're all good with that. We'll just bring it back to the next meeting.
Oh, unless other folks have
I'm sorry.
feedback and have read, I was just saying that I didn't have.
Anybody have feedback at this point, or do you want to?
No.
No?
I guess if we're going to discuss it next time, sorry to harp on this, could we ask them if they used any outside resources or county staff? Because I think that this is, this list of acknowledgements is all the commissioners, not necessarily like who.
No, it says the people with the asterisks are final report committee contributors.
But, yes, but I think this list, the whole list,
Yes.
is the population is only the committee members. I don't think it, because usually it would say like county staff or
I
city
think
staff.
Tanya is a staff person. The
The director.
director.
If the commission
Other
just
than
wrote
that,
it, that's
yeah.
amazing, but like to even like who copy edited it, like just a question.
Okay. Okay, does the staff have any reports?
No reports.
I had one thing that I just wanted to report on. I have scheduled multiple times meetings with Diana Aroche, who's the executive director of the San Francisco Commission on the Status of Women. And we haven't been able to connect, unfortunately, but I'm trying to schedule time with her so that to get some insight into what San Francisco City and County
That'd be
does.
great, yeah. Good. All right, are we all good? We're all
Can I
good?
just ask a question on that?
Sure.
In what capacity would we be building a relationship with the CSW in San Francisco?
It's not a relationship. My husband works for the city, so he just did an intro. It's really just to just inquire about what they do and how they work, and then bring it back to us. And if we wanted to have more conversations or engage with them in some capacity, we could. But it's just more like an informational sort of conversation.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn?
Is there a second? Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Debbie?